Welcome back to the channel. I hope you enjoy. What's up, viewers of the multiverse? Welcome to your daily casted trip. Now today we're gonna predict Week 8 in the NFL. And I've got the games up here. Tomorrow I'll be doing a vlog before all the games, so I might start doing that every Sunday. So first up, we got the Washington Redskins versus the Cincinnati Bengals. For all intents and purposes, I'm rooting against the Bengals, obviously, being a Ravens fan. But I do think the Bengals are going to pick up the win, which means in our bye week, they're going to jump us. So we're going to be back at third if that happens. So pulling for the Redskins, but I really think the Bengals are going to take the win here. Then we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Indianapolis Colts. I have the Chiefs winning this game because I just think Alex Smith has been super on target in these past few weeks. I think the past 2 weeks he's been 17 for 24 both games. Not a whole lot of passing yards, but when you have Spencer Ware at the running back position, I don't think you don't necessarily need 400 passing yards. Next, we have the Tampa Bay Bucs versus the Oakland Raiders. I have the Raiders winning this game because I just think the Raiders they have a great offense. Derek Carr throwing to Amari Cooper, I think is one of the best. Like I said last week, I think it's one of the best 1-2 combos that they have in the NFL. The Bucs. I mean, Jameis Winston played well last week. But I think the fact is turnovers are a big thing, and they're going to continue to be a big thing for him. That was obvious from last week to 2 weeks before that when they used the Panthers on Monday night. So I think the Raiders pick up the win here. Next we have the Seattle Seahawks versus the New Orleans Saints. I have the Saints winning this game. Simply because we saw what happened last week with the Cardinals and the Seahawks. Stephen Hauschka did absolutely horrendous. I sat him in my fantasy league in favor of what's his name? I forget his name, but I had to replace him, and I'm glad I did beforehand. Other than that, their offense didn't look good at all. Obviously, the Saints' defense is way different than the Cardinals' defense. So that's something to look into. I still think the Saints win this game because I think that Drew Brees, as the evidence of every week, he's going to outthrow Russell Wilson. I think the Saints get the win. Maybe it's not going to be pretty, obviously, but in a shootout, I think the Saints are going to win. Next, we have the Houston Texans and the Detroit Lions. I have the Lions in this game. Matthew Stafford has just been on a roll. And not only that, but the Texans have a lot of... I just don't trust Brock Osweiler to manage the quarterback position. Even though they don't have Calvin Johnson this year, the Lions have done well. Matthew Stafford has really come to fruition as far as quarterback. I always thought in the past that I think he felt kind of mediocre, but it's clear that this year he is on absolute fire. Next we have the Cleveland Browns. Oh, the Browns. And the New York Jets. The Jets did beat the Ravens last week, which is a complete travesty. The Browns are still don't have a win, and I don't expect that to change. Kevin Hogan is gonna. Well, actually, I read on ESPN that Josh McCown has a chance to start this week. He's back from his broken collarbone, so expect either Josh McCown or Kevin Hogan to start. Other than that, I mean, this game, there's really nothing to be excited about this game, especially as a Cleveland Browns fan, which, if you are, I'm sorry. Next, we have the Buffalo Bills against the New England Patriots. The Bills beat the Patriots I don't remember, it was earlier in the season. But that being said, Tom Brady wasn't the quarterback, it was Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think, judging on the Buffalo's game last week against the Dolphins, I just think that the Patriots are going to win this game. I don't expect it to be a blowout, but it's not. I don't think it's going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout, but it's not really going to be close either. Next, we have the Arizona Cardinals versus the Carolina Panthers. Obviously, the Cardinals were involved in that game last week with the Seahawks that ended in a 6-6 tie. So, the Panthers haven't been playing that well this year either. But I think the Cardinals probably. I'm going to pick the Cardinals to win this game because I think Carson Palmer and David Johnson are going to have a better game this week, obviously, against the Panthers. Because the Panthers' defense has not been playing well. I mean, it's obvious that they missed Josh Norman. It's completely obvious. I mean, their secondary, not to mention Ben Wickery was released a few weeks ago, so their secondary is really suffering from the Josh Norman loss. Next, we have the Broncos and the Chargers for the second time in 3 weeks. Now, San Diego won the first meeting. I think the Broncos take the second, and they split the series for the season. It's kind of weird that they would have both games within 3 weeks of each other, and then the series be over so quickly. But I think the Broncos get the win here. I think their defense does a lot better. I think they stop Phillip Rivers. I think Simeon throws for probably, I'll say 250 and maybe a touchdown. I think the Broncos get the win here. I think it'll probably be close, but I think the Broncos win. Next, we have the Green Bay Packers versus the Atlanta Falcons. Now, the emergence of Julio Jones, guys, this is no joke. Julio Jones, we all knew that he was a good receiver, obviously. But I don't think anyone thought that he would be having this kind of year. He's been an absolute monster this year. So, they go against Green Bay Packers. I just don't think Aaron Rodgers has enough weapons. I mean, Jordy Nelson, but if you saw last week, Jordy Nelson had 1 catch for 9 yards against the Bears. So, I'm picking the Falcons to win this game. Next, we have the Eagles and the Cowboys. Dak Prescott is going to start again until Tony Romo comes back, obviously, against Carson Wentz. Also, I saw an article, I don't know if it was on ESPN or maybe one of the other websites for sports, but I saw where they predict that Carson Wentz versus Dak Prescott may be the next Brady Manning. No, that's not going to be the case. Because I think, the Cowboys are going to be, Tony Romo's going to be in the Cowboys' back pocket for as long as he can be. So I think Wentz is obviously going to start for the Eagles, but I think as soon as Romo comes back, Jerry Jones is definitely replacing him. They shouldn't, but they probably will. And next. Oh, no. Okay. Next, we have the Bears and the Vikings. The Vikings coming off a loss to the Eagles last week. Sam Bradford got really, really beat up in that game. The Bears coming off the loss to Green Bay. I think the Vikings win this game. I think Sam Bradford comes back strong. I think AP goes over 100. That's what I expect to happen. The Bears they haven't done enough this year to prove that they can beat a team like the Vikings. I mean, the Vikings have a good defense. They have a good offense for the most part, other than last week, obviously. But at the same time, there's room for improvement there. So I take the Vikings in this game. My lock pick of the week is the Patriots over the Bills. Like I said, Brady's back now. They lost against the Bills in week 2, maybe, I'm not sure. But Brady wasn't in there. I think the fact that Brady's in there this week probably says that the Patriots are gonna win. Again, it may not be a blowout, but it's not gonna be close either. I think it's probably 2 touchdowns, a 2-touchdown difference. Bye weeks this week. My Ravens have a bye week, which it is much needed for us to rest our players, because it's 4 straight losses is unacceptable. The Steelers also have a bye week. We do play the Steelers next week, so we both have a bye week this week. Also, you have the Giants and the 49ers have a bye week this week. So that was week 8 of the NFL. Make sure you let me know who you have to win these games in the comments. Thank you so much. Tomorrow, the NFL Sunday vlog is coming up right before all the games. So make sure you tune into that. Also, shout out to the guys at TM7 Radio. They've decided that they want to have me on and stuff, so I might do that as well. So that'll be I can't speak. That'll be exciting. So make sure you tune into that. Monday we'll have a Monday discussion about the Lombardi Trophy being renamed to the Belichick Trophy. So that'll come Monday. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe, and win the day, my friends. Win the day.